And what is going on, everybody? This is Vinny Maletti with Maletti Law, the strongest name in law. The date now is March 12th, 2022. It is a Saturday. It is cold. It is crappy outside. We are here in Brooklyn, New York. It is now 2 p.m. First and foremost, make sure you click on that red subscribe button below on the YouTube channel. You never want to miss these updates. Always got constant content being created, whether it comes from, our publisher, whether it comes from these videos, whether it comes from my rants, whatever the case is. So stuff's always being constantly updated. Don't want to miss it. Go to the website, www.malettilaw.com, www.malettilaw.com, and make sure you sign up to the newsletter over there. There's a little box. As soon as you go in, you punch in your email address, and we send you everything. Okay, let's get down to it. This is one of these little short spurts. So recently, this has another thing that's been coming up, and I just figured it's easier to just make a video about it. Okay, so a lot of ideas, right? So a lot of things, especially in New York, you get a lot of troll attorneys, a lot of trolls, a lot of wage and hour claims. Doesn't matter if they have any credibility to them or not. They don't care. The attorneys will come out there and just simply try to get whatever money they want to get, whatever they want to assert. I mean, the claims, I'm a lot of claims. I mean, I've probably seen maybe one or two so far that actually, out of all my clients, that actually miscalculated something, because the thresholds on the New York are very low. The thresholds on the New York are high. So in order to be exempt, you got to pay a lot in New York, But the FLSA that's the federal law. It's typically not too stringent, but it's interesting because these kind of it's still very weird and kind of a unique language in it. So the purpose of this video is just to introduce how the FLSA applies to you. Most employees want to say, oh, well, we can't, the FLSA doesn't apply to us. We have these certain conditions. The FLSA is extremely broad. The FLSA is the Fair Labor Standards Act. It is a very, very broad statute. It tries to encompass and incorporate as much as they can as possible. It is a statute that is designed to punish employers for when the courts believe, or when the party that are aggrieved believe that some kind of foul play occurred when it comes to payments, when it comes to overtime payments, wage and hour payments, stuff like this. So the statute is designed the way it is intentionally, interpreted the way it is intentionally, because its intent is to get the employer to address an alleged wrong. It's supposed to be like a punitive statute that forces and encourages employers to do the right thing and pay their employees and pay their overtime. All right, so let's get with it. So the FLSA applies to you, even if you're a small business. It applies to you if A, you have gross receipts or gross income, $500,000 or more, and the other portion is you are engaged in commerce. The employer asserting it is engaged in commerce or engaged in the production of goods for commerce. Understand what this means. Commerce, in the context of the FLSA, stands for international commerce. Commerce is a term used to discuss the national economy. So interstate commerce, just commerce in general. These are terms that are coined to discuss the transaction of money across state lines along the economy as a whole. So every time you see the term commerce or hear the term commerce with the FLSA, you're thinking interstate commerce. You're thinking the economy as a whole. All right, so it's the overtime provisions will apply if the employee is engaged in commerce or in the production of goods for commerce, or if the employee is employed in an enterprise, a business, in an enterprise that is engaged in commerce or in the production of goods for commerce. So remember, it either focuses on the employee or focuses on the employer. When it focuses on the employer, it's calling it the enterprise. That's known as the enterprise theory of the FLSA. The enterprise theory of the FLSA. Now, the enterprise theory is interesting because the enterprise theory is asking that an enterprise, a business, is engaged in a commercial enterprise, is engaged in commerce, that either A, the employees are handling, selling, or otherwise working on goods or materials that have moved in or are produced from commerce, and whose annual gross volume of sales made or business done is not less than $500,000. So those two elements, right? So Let's put it in perspective. Let's repeat it again. So an enterprise, a business, is engaged in commerce if the business has employees handling, selling, or otherwise working on goods or materials that have moved in or are produced for commerce, and means both of them have to be there, and whose annual gross volume of sales made or business done is not less than $500,000. So here's an example. I work in, I'm going to age myself here. I work in a video rental store. Remember Blockbuster? So I assume they don't exist anymore, but let's just say they existed. And I have a small business. I'm on the avenue, Vinny's Videos, and I rent videos to people. People come, they rent a video for 3 days, they rent a DVD, go home, they put it in, boom, and they leave, right? Vinny's Videos, right? That technically is an enterprise that's engaged in commerce. Even though I'm only renting videos to people local in my community. I mean, I'm not doing it online. We're not Netflix, we're not, you're not sending me labels and I'm sending you DVDs back or anything like this. None of that. We're simply sending out videos to people. We're simply letting people rent videos, rent DVDs. But here's where the kicker is. That DVD might have come from, I don't know, China. That DVD might have come from Japan. That DVD might have come from California. That DVD might have come from Georgia. Georgia has a big production in this country. So those videos, those goods came from commerce. They came from another state, from another country. They came from this overall broad aspect of commerce. As long as I have $500,000 a year or more in sales, in gross sales, not net, in gross sales, then it applies to me. So keep that in mind. So when it comes to the business, it's a very easy standard to meet when it comes for the enterprise theory of the FLSA. As long as either you are working in commerce or your employers are handling, selling, or otherwise working on any goods and materials that have moved or are produced in commerce, or using any materials that come from commerce, this interstate commerce, it's going to apply. So keep that in mind. So it is difficult to find in this world that we live in. It's difficult to find something that has, some goods especially that have no hand in interstate commerce. I can't think of one industry, honestly, that any good that you use doesn't come from somewhere else in the world or in the country. I mean, period. I can't think of one. So it would be a waste of my time. So keep that in mind. So the FLSA applies if you have not less than $500,000 a year in gross sales, and also if either under the employee theory, where the employee's working in commerce or working in the production of certain goods that go into commerce, or the enterprise theory, which is the same. The enterprise theory engages in commerce, has employees that work inside commerce, or uses items, sells goods, some kind of uses products or whatever it is that are developed in commerce, that are exchanged through commerce, and then wind up showing themselves to the enterprise, to the particular business, to the enterprise. So there you have it in a nutshell. It's a little bit complex because of all the fancy terminology they use. So I try to speak slow and I try to speak clear. So hopefully this makes sense. If you have any questions, concerns, obviously you can certainly reach out to us. Here we go again. 8 minutes and 55 seconds into the video. Somebody woke up and is now licking my feet. So I think that's the sign. What is it? The sign that's at the Grammys, to like knock it off, the big red sign, whatever, to wrap it up. So there we go, wrapping it up. Everybody have a beautiful day. Certainly yours and loves, love, and lifts. Keep being unusually motivated and keep fighting the good fight. Melody Law is always here for you. Subscribe to the channel, subscribe to the newsletter. Have a great weekend. Later.